Hello, welcome back to Skeledon, Bushcraft and Survival. Glad you could join me. Today, we're going to be processing some black cottonwood for cordage. Now, I'm going to have to cut this in half in order, or maybe even more than half, in order to be able to process it. It's just easier to do it this way than scraping off the bark when it's still on the tree. And the reason why is because this tree was dead before I came along. If it had been a live tree and I needed it, then I could have just scraped the outer bark off of it and got to the inner bark, and it would have been easier that way. But this was from an already dead tree, so I seen it sitting there, and I harvested what I wanted out of it. And now I'm going to take the inner bark from the outer bark. And I like to find an end up top that's flat and get right in between the outer bark and the inner bark with my knife, and kind of use my thumb to pull. And once I get it, then the rest of it pulls off kind of easy. Just take a little bit at a time. Get this out of the way. Peel off the outer bark from the inner bark. Now, when it gets to this point right here, there's a knot there. So, it's going to be a little troublesome getting around that knot, because I have to get up underneath the remaining of that inner bark. Just separating it. Once you get it, then you can continue pulling. I don't have it quite yet. This is inner bark as well. There we go. Now I got it. Match that up to it. And then, just like I said before, just go slow with it and pull. It'll pretty much hold itself together. Now this is only if it's been dead. If it's alive, then it's a whole different ballgame. As you see, this is the inner bark and it's already turning color. So it's been dead for a bit. I would say a good 2 months, because I peeled it off the tree. Had this been off the tree, this bark been off the tree, then it would have already been no good within 2 months. But I'd say that the tree itself died, I'd say about 2 months ago. Okay, I'm going to do one more on camera, and then I'm going to pause it, continue on with these, and we'll get back. I'll come back when I have these done and ready for the next step. But I do want to point out that I harvested these yesterday off of that tree, and it was still white up underneath here because it was close to the tree. It was starting to turn orange, but it was still pretty white. I didn't get to them till today, so I soaked them in water so that they were easier to work with. And the next step that I'm getting ready to do is going to actually be putting them in more water. So, again, use your knife to separate the inner bark from the outer bark. And I'm going to try to bring it up so that you can actually see. See? If it would ever focus. It won't focus. I don't know why I can't get it to focus. But anyways, you separate the inner bark from the outer bark. This is the outer bark side. This is the inner bark side right here. And then you can slowly pull. I'm going to get away from the camera now because it won't focus. But you can slowly pull and it will hold itself together. If you try to pull too much, then it will start getting into, and if it does, then separate that out, because that's not a part of the inner bark and it'll make it too thick for you. Too thick to work with. The inner bark is flexible, and the outer bark really isn't. So, all right, now it kind of broke there a little bit, and that's fine. Looking at the thickness there, I'm wanting to put it on my leg and just hold my knife in one area. I don't want to push down on the knife. I just want to hold it where it is so it doesn't move, and kind of bring it into And now I can realign and then continue pulling. Just like that. Now that knot right there grabbed a little bit of that. So just get that back. Okay. Now, once you get them in strips, you want to take in the middle here and let them follow the grain pattern. You're going to end up with stronger cordage in the end if you allow it to choose where the fibers are going. If you try to choose where the fibers are going, then it'll end up backfiring on you, because you'll think that you'll have a nice strong hold on something and there's no fibers there to grab. Just start in the middle and pull. Kind of short. Now this one right here is about 1/4 of an inch. It's a little wider than 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take up here but I'm going to leave this just the way it is. And the short pieces are fine. You don't have to worry about the short pieces. See, this one's already separating there, so I'm just going to go ahead and follow it down. Wherever it goes. And it's going into that, so that's good. Alright, this piece is a good piece just the way it is. And this piece is good the way that is, and this piece is good the way this is. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and continue processing these, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, we're back. So I got things set up. Now you can use a regular fire, you know, like a campfire. For today I'm using the Coleman 3-burner camp stove. I got some water here and got my campfire ash here and the old coffee can. And we're getting ready to do the second step. Now, in some situations you don't have time for a second step, or you're not able to do a second step. But if you can, it's beneficial. And the reason why is because, like this Bushcraft table that I made here. I got 2 tripods, and then of course I got, you know, limbs stretched between them. And if I would have used this cordage fresh, you know, just as soon as I stripped it from the outer bark, wetted it, made cordage out of it, wet, it would have held pretty good. And it would have held indefinitely as long as there was no movement. But if there's any movement or anything like that, once it dries, it ends up tearing up the fibers and, of course, breaking the cordage. So by doing the second step, it makes it more flexible, even after it dries. So then you can use it for things like this and not have to worry about, well, I mean, you have to worry about cordage snapping in, you know, regardless, under wear and tear. But you wouldn't have to worry about it any more than you would any other cordage. So it would last longer, is I guess what I'm saying. So the first thing, like I said, I got my water here, and we're going to go ahead and add some ash. Like I said, this is just campfire ash. That's all. Gonna add a little bit. you can use campfire ash for so many different things, so I keep it and store it. Alright, going to get a stick here. Kind of stir that up. Mix it into the water. And we'll go ahead and add the inner bark. A lot can go in a small little pan. The water is soaked right up, so just press it down in there. Got some water over here to rinse off my hands. There we go. And then I got a towel over here. Alright. I'm going to use this stick to press it the rest of the way and kind of mix it up a little bit, making sure that the ash is covering. Not the ash, the water. Sorry. Anyways, we'll just go ahead and get this fire going here. Get this on here. Now you want to let that boil for about an hour. So you need to keep an eye on it. Make sure that it don't boil over onto your stove and stuff. And when the boil starts, the water starts rising, you know, maybe pour out a little bit of water, you know. Excuse me. You don't really have to worry about it over a campfire, but if you're using a stove, you know. Also, I want to point out, you want to do this outside. You don't want to do it on the inside. I'm using black cottonwood. Now, if you was using willow or poplar or something like that, then on the inside would be fine. But I'm using black cottonwood, so it emits a smell. It's not toxic, but it just emits a smell and it's not really nice. So, alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and let that boil, and we'll come back. Okay, we're back. It's been a little over an hour, but that's okay. Anyways, I got a bucket of water here so we can kind of rinse them off. Take it off the flame here. Now we're just going to pour the water into a jug, and I got the jug over here. The reason why I want to keep the water is because you can use the water for other things. So I'm going to go ahead and dip it in this bucket. I guess I'll set the bucket up here so that you can see it. I'm going to sit it in there. The stuff is still in there, but I'm kind of rinsing it off. Alright. There we go. Rinse out my pot here. Now you can use this pot. You can clean it and you can use it for other things. After you've done this, it will leave a stain, like a tea stain, but you can actually get most of that off, and it won't affect whatever that you're getting ready to fix next time. It won't affect it as far as flavor wise or anything like that. But it will stain it. I'm just going to set that off to the side there. And remove my stirring stick I was using. Now while I was waiting on that right there, I went ahead and made me some nettle tea. The perfect time of year for that. I got some nettle leaves, and it takes about 2 cups of fresh nettle leaves to make 1 cup of nettle tea. And so, pretty good. It is a diuretic, so I mean, make sure that you drink plenty of water, you know, but it tastes good. Alright, now I dumped this out, and I'm going to kind of wring it out a little bit, and then I have a thing overhead I'm going to hang it on to let it dry, and then we'll come back in a couple of days and I'll make a new video on how to make cordage from it. And I have something in store. I have something planned. I got a message the other day, a request. So I'm going to fulfill that request in an upcoming video using the cordage coming from this right here. So, if you like the video, smash the like button. If you're new, please subscribe. Please leave a comment. I kind of enjoyed that request. So, I'd like to see more of those. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. Make sure you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching, and look forward to seeing you soon.